Hey, what is up, YouTube? What is up, Christianology family? So we have MIA explains why she just got baptized and how she was canceled. Let's get straight to the video. This is a video from Tim Pool or Tim Cass or whatever his name is. Let's get straight to the video, man.
Became Christian?
I became Christian, yeah. I got baptized.
When was that?
I got baptized in 2022. But I became a Christian in, I guess, 2017.
What sparked that that awakening?
My real name is Madangi, right? And it's the goddess of music and spoken word.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, in Hinduism, which I didn't know. So I grew up an atheist. Even when I came out as MIA, I was an atheist. And my dad always said religion is used as it's a tool for social control. And he was raised Catholic, though. And so then I guess after
religion is a social control construct, or whatever you want to say it, but it's there for a reason. Without religion, a lot of people are going to be sick. Look at them. Look at them, bro. Girls coming out of high school, 17, 18, they're now starting OnlyFans. You didn't even think about college or working a regular job. OnlyFans. That's what you chose. Come on, bro. Come on.
The Maya album is when I found out what my name meant after I got cancelled for saying connected to Google, connected to the government. And that was the opening of the record. And then obviously WikiLeaks and everything came out in 2010, 2011, around that time. But this record came out just before it. And so then, you know, it just kind of, it was about technology because the iPhone came out. And it was, the reason why that happened is because of my observation to do with the Tamil genocide, like what had kind of happened during 2009. And I didn't really think too much about the wider scope of how things were going to be in the world. Then everyone cancelled me. And when I was cancelled, I went to India for a bit. And then that's when I discovered what my name meant. And it was kind of a cool thing because in Hinduism, you had a concept of a goddess who was the goddess of music and also the goddess of the untouchables. So it's about giving voice to the voiceless. And she was the goddess of spoken word, which was kind of like rapping. So when the record labels were like, why are you political? Because you'd be better making pop records. I brought back this story and I said, look, 5,000 years ago, they'd already written a concept where it was possible to be a musician and stick up for people and talk about pollution of information and you know, fight for something. Like it's okay to have these things kind of cross over. And so it was very useful having this Hindu understanding. So I became a Hindu. And so then I went down the path of Hinduism and studied it and tried to understand it a lot. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, 5 years into it, I had a vision of Jesus. Yeah, while I was awake.
Can you describe that?
So I just made the Borders video. And
Great video.
Yeah, so that was the last thing I did as a Hindu. And it was about, again, humanity. And I thought that creatively, because Matangi is the goddess of like creativity as well. So I really felt that I had to make this to understand what...
This was it?
Yeah. And, you know, the whole time I had the strength to make this video on my own. So I directed it and we kind of did the whole thing in 20 days. Wow. Again, there was a storm. I was going on holiday and there was a storm where I was going. So I landed in Chennai and then we were stuck there because of the storm. And we thought, okay, let's just make a video. And we started and finished it from scratch within 20 days, you know. And that I thought was like divine.
It's a huge production.
It's huge.
There's a lot of people in it.
1,000 people and we had a crew of 200. It was massive. So to do that very quickly, it's like you had to believe in something to get through and what the message was. And you know, so I was feeling very comfortable in Hinduism. But the funny thing we did during this video is we kept going to like markets in India and buying really badly spelled shirts. And we were going to put it in the video as a joke because Indians always make these motivational shirts, but they spell it all wrong. You know, so one of the ones en route to this day, like this specific day, I think this was like day 2 or 3, we had one where I was walking on water. And that's because all my stuntmen let me down. So we had to kind of improvise a shot. So they were like, you know, we don't have the ramps that we're going to shoot the speedboat into the air, but we can make you a ramp where you could stand in the water. And I was like, okay. But that day we found a t-shirt that said Jesus sad instead of Jesus said, I am the way. So we thought it was funny, and I put on this Jesus sad t-shirt. And so it was kind of weird that we had this shot, and but I didn't really think about it. And then straight after I made this video, something else happened in the Hindu realm. And then I had a vision of Jesus because I don't know why, but it happened. And Matangi, or Mardangi, the goddess, it was always about freedom of speech and to protect freedom of speech. And speech is super important. And it's the articulation of inner thought into external sound. And she resides in the throat, in between your brain sending the signal and being turned into words. And so it was always about truth, you know. And so when I was cancelled, and in between those two albums, I was cancelled like 50 other times for all different other reasons. Super Bowl, you know, there's the stuff about when I said Obama should give back his Nobel Peace Prize. Like, there was many, many things. And then Julian Assange, like, you know, meeting him. And then I made the WikiLeaks album.
Yep, she definitely pissed a lot of black people off with that one. Obama should give back his Nobel Prize? Okay, all right. You're going to be canceled on Black Twitter for sure. Black Twitter, you're going to be canceled. Be like, how dare this Indian woman say the former president or the president at that time should give back his Nobel Prize? You know, yeah. So she definitely was canceled.
And it was all like a million other things. But then I thought, you know, truth is an important thing. And when I had the vision of Jesus, it's not like I could lie about it or pretend I didn't have it. You know, I still have to be truthful, because even in the context of the thing I'd followed before, which was Mardangi, the concept of this deity, it stood for truth. And it was part of my journey and exploration to find out what that meant. And once you take truth serious, then you get revealed this other truth. Yeah. And then you're like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, what if this all was supposed to be up to this point, you know? And maybe there's something else that's going to come after. I don't know, you know, but at this point, that is a truth and can't lie about it. And so then I was like, why did that happen? Because my life was I was quite comfortable in Hinduism. And then I guess when 2020 came along, it sort of made more sense. You know, it really did feel like things were changing. And even though the Borders song was all of those things where I was saying, we do need a reset. I said it. No other artist said that. You know, the opening of this song literally says, we need a new rhythm, we need a reset. And then you throw all these things into the air, like, what does values mean? What does your family mean? What does your belief mean? What does your politics mean? Or the Borders, or everything, you know, as large topics and issues. What do they all mean once you begin to tear at the fabric of society, where meanings are given to things, and you know, and we override that, you know? And so, of course, all of those things are going to start breaking, you know, if you remove the foundation. And so I was already there in 2016 asking these questions, because, yes, I saw the change, you know, and I guess it was written before Trump came into power. And so then after you ask those questions, you're just kind of like, well, what do you do now? You know, and then I had the vision, and I don't know why, and I don't understand what was the reason for it. And then when 2020 happened, I see it on like a bigger level, to be like, okay, this is, you know, certain things happen because they have to happen. And, you know, it's, I guess we're still living through that time.
I had a very similar experience where I was an atheist. Christ offered me the only structure and joy to chaos that this world gives you, and it was happening up into lockdowns. As you're also noticing, like you're talking about technology and like this totalitarian.
A lot of people got saved in 2020, so I'm sure it was definitely, obviously, God like orchestrates everything. So I'm sure 2020 was part of God's plan to sit a lot of people down, to have them think to themselves, have no distractions from nobody. It's just you. It's just you. You have to talk to yourself. You have to understand what you're doing in this life. A lot of people had career changes in 2020. 'Cause a lot of people got let go by their jobs, or let go, or or like it sat them down. It's like, why am I actually at this job? That's it. It's like I'm like that person. It's like, why am I exactly at this job? A lot of people also thought about that.
Techno world we're in, they're trying to become God and they're trying to be omniscient.
Yes.
Whereas like there's an ancient omniscience that I was now believing in because it's the only way to push back against this fake omniscience in the world.
Exactly.
Well, you also recently got baptized
Last summer, yeah.
last summer.
Yep.
A lot of people.
We're in a revival, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of people come into this studio
Yep.
who are, oh yeah, I found Christ and things like that, or more specifically that.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. It gives you peace now because I don't know where else to find it. I mean, even Hinduism, I have a lot of people around me who are. It's chaotic, and therapy doesn't have the answer. Science doesn't really have the answer. And science is a study to me, but it's not the answer,
Not the answer.
And
Yeah, because the answer is already there. Now you have to use science to understand why the answer is this way. That's what science is. So science cannot explain God. It can't do anything like that. It can't prove that there isn't a God or anything like that. Science is just science could prove it, but they don't want science to prove it. Because how can this world exist because of an explosion? What I know from explosion is that explosion destroys; it doesn't create. So how can an explosion create water, human beings, animals, plants, the sun, the stars? How can that create that? Come on.
And I was very, very, very judgmental. My mum was a Christian for is, and I was very judgmental and always felt like, I'm an intellectual and I looked down at Christians as something as it, like naive people followed because they had nothing else, But I don't think that anymore.
The weirdest thing to me is that people will lie and claim I'm an atheist. I don't understand it.
You've said, I've heard you say it hundreds of times that you're not an atheist.
There's never been an instance where we've done a show where I have ever said I'm atheist or I don't believe in God.
I think you've even said the story many times of like going to a skater's house and seeing the painting of Jesus and asking him like, what's up with that? And like him giving you that nuance that perhaps we don't all have.
There are atheists who do the right thing as well sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they don't know why they do what they do, but they that's okay. Like for example, Julian Assange, I would say he's like that. He's like my dad.
He's an atheist.
He's an atheist.
You got to talk to him. He's wrong.
Yeah.
And
a lot of smart people are wrong.
It doesn't mean he's also not willed by a certain power that that is, because people find the drive and the will and the energy from somewhere to do what they do. And he went up against things that is a very selfless cause. It's like he doesn't benefit from what he did. He was trying to speak about pointless deaths of some journalists, which will affect many, many journalists, but doesn't really, he had no gain. It's not like he was going to end up with $1 billion tech company at the end of it, And a lot of people in that time did. Like loads of people became billionaires off tech companies, yet this man didn't, So he was willed from something.
Those people became billionaires, ended up working in tandem with the government.
Yes.
And letting them censor all of us.
Yes.
During lockdowns.
And we got that tech became used to go after every single person in humanity. And whatever your Harari is talking about now, whether humans are hackable or whatever, however that is done, is through all of these technologies that assault.
I'd also say Christ is like the greatest subverter of evil. And so to be Christ-like is try to subvert evil. And what Assange did is subverting evil. And that's why I think a lot of the evil people in government hate that transparency, because they're like, oh, he's exposing. Well, what he really did, above just showing us the videos of all this horrible murders of civilians, is he exposed the Uniparty. Because at one point, Hillary Clinton is on TV saying he's the worst person ever. And then there's people on Fox News calling for his murder. Like they're saying, I know it's illegal, but if you see him, take care of him. So it was like
they were saying that
on both sides. Oh yeah.
And then you had the famous line, Hillary Clinton asking, can we just drone this guy?
Right.
But you know what it is Julian Assange was sharing the truth. And
and also like there's many people, it's not even, I get it.
Julian Assange. Julian Assange. Oh, Julian Assange. Okay, this is it. He's an Australian editor, publisher and activist who founded WikiLeaks in 2006 in order to commit acts of journalism. Okay, so yeah, this is the guy right here. Hillary Clinton. Is Hillary Clinton? Oh, he's arrested? Really? Or the USA must drop charges against Julian Assange. Oh, they're saying espionage. Whoa. Espionage. You know, that's like a traitor, bro. Right? That's like a traitor. A practice of spying or using spies typically by government to obtain political. Yeah, it's like espionage. Like, yeah. But espionage in America is like a death penalty, bro. So hopefully he's not guilty of that. Authorities in the USA must drop the espionage and all other charges against Julian Assange that relate to his publishing activities as part of his work with WikiLeaks. The U.S. government's unrelenting pursuit of Julian Assange for having published disclosed documents that included possible war crimes committed by the U.S. military is nothing short of a full-scale assault on the right to freedom of expression. Okay, whoa, when did this happen though? There's no date on this article for some reason. Date. Oh, Assange. Where is he though? Yeah, I've been taking you guys on this rabbit hole, but we gotta understand what is happening. Where is he from? From the UK? Oh, yeah. A London court ruled one their decision likely to further drag out an already long legal saga. Okay, so he's from the UK. Okay. Whoa. Huh. Oh, he's from Australia, or he's in Australia currently. Yeah, so I'm not even gonna drag it, but that's Julian Assange.
Because you'd say, oh, he's an outsider. He's not American. Therefore, he's evil, and he's anti-American. But there's many people in America
Yeah,
who
anti-American.
say, for example, when we talk about RFK and he's talking about poisonous food in the system, someone like Julian doesn't have to harm Americans in that way, because you could go to the supermarket and there's enough things in there that harms Americans. You don't have to drone Americans, because Americans are selling Americans bad food,
Right.
and that
true.
and medical care, like their medical care is so expensive.
So
A lot of them are not interested in.
And insurance doesn't even want to cover it. You pay them every month. Something happens to you the 8th month. Oh, this issue is not in your plan. Oh, we can't really give you the service you need because you haven't reached a quota.
Health like they should
Right.
be, or
Oh, yeah.
like there's loads of things that American companies do themselves to hurt Americans.
Shout out to Mia, man. Shout out to MIA. Hey, that was a video from MIA explaining, her explains how she got baptized. All right, okay. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one, man. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm gonna see you guys. Peace.